All right, thank you.
All right, so as we mentioned, we are the Career Center, and we might be a little bit biased, but arguably one of the most important departments on campus, because parents in the room, why are we sending our children off to college? To get a job. Yes, we love that. And the Career Center is here for you every step of the way. So my first year students in the room, all the way to our seniors who are leaving our doors, we are here to help you and create your job search and internship strategy. Oh, next one, Colleen. Perfect. So I'm going to briefly talk about 5 strategies that students can be implementing today, right now. So students in the room, pay attention. Parents, take notes so you can take this with you and hopefully integrate it throughout your time at SCU. All right, so the first one is explore and deepen your self-awareness. So first year students coming in to Santa Clara, we might be a little unsure of what major we want to pursue, unsure of the job industry we want to go into, but Career Center, we are here to help. 2 resources I would really like to point out. The first one is Focus 2. Focus 2 is a career assessment that students can take, whether it's based on your personality, skills, values, work, and it actually relates all of those assessments to majors at Santa Clara University. So very helpful for our incoming students who are a little unsure. And then next, as you know, the College of Arts and Sciences, we're very unique in the sense that we have so many different avenues that we can explore. So for example, an art history major, what on earth can we do with that degree? Well, we can go to what I can do with my major and figure out the exact career paths that you can implement within those degrees. Just like I said, we have a very unique population, and these resources can for sure help deepen that self-awareness. All right, strategy number 2 is the actual logistics of your search. So does your student have a resume? Do they have a polished LinkedIn? How are their interview skills? So the logistical part of your job search or internship search, and the Career Center is here to help you out with every step of the way. So whether that's critiquing a resume, helping you create a LinkedIn profile. I actually just got back from a presentation. I went through how to create a LinkedIn profile with one of our sociology classes today. So we are in classrooms getting in front of students. And then also we can also help with our mock interviews. So here for the logistical part. Moving on to strategy number 3. One of the most important ones is building your network. Parents in the room can really allude to this. How many of us have landed a job through cold applying versus through your network? Yeah, so 80% of jobs are actually found in the hidden job market. So it's all about who you know, who you connect with. How our students at Santa Clara are connecting with people are through LinkedIn and Bronco Exchange. So everyone's heard of LinkedIn. Bronco Exchange is new to some people, and that is actually just LinkedIn for Santa Clara alumni. So the connection rates on Bronco Exchange are a lot higher because our alumni have signed up to Bronco Exchange to be mentors, hoping students will reach out to them. In addition to accessing that hidden job market, the network can also help you create your career path, ask questions, and remember, it's never too early to start. So whether you are networking as a first-year student all the way to your senior year, super important to tap into that Bronco network and start creating your own. Perfect. So number 4 is strategizing your search. So no team has ever won without a good game plan, right? So that is the same with career. You need to have good intentions, a strategy to always have that successful outcome. But we also want to emphasize how stressful we know the internship process can be, especially within the Bay Area, very competitive. But first and foremost, we care about how you are taking care of yourself. Self-care is so important in this process. And then also implementing these strategies. So now that you're ready to find an internship, where can you look? Handshake is a great resource that we encourage all students to use. Emmanuel's going to talk about that a little bit later. LinkedIn has a lovely job board. Our international students can use Going Global. Of course, that hidden network that I talked about. And then Indeed. So once you get all of your logistical things and networking lined up, your action step is actually going to be starting to find that internship. Heading into the last strategy, and that is engage with your career center. Like I said, we are here to help you along your way, first time stepping onto campus, all the way through, hopefully landing that dream job someday, but making sure to access our events. And I know our students are sometimes reluctant to check the emails, but every Friday, Dean Press has a dash of CAS. All of the events for the following week catered to College of Arts and Sciences are in that newsletter, so make sure you're subscribed to that. We also have weekly events in the Career Center. You can schedule one-on-one appointments with us to, like I said, review resumes, network, create your LinkedIn profiles, mock interviews. We are here to help. We also do career advisor social hours throughout campus. Those are just drop-in hours. We know your schedules are busy, so drop in and stop by during those, and those are also emailed to you as well. And then I'll let Emmanuel talk to some of the employer relations events.
Thank you. Can you guys hear me without the mic pretty well? Yeah? Okay, cool. Just like, let it go. Sweet. So in addition to what she's just shared, we host 3 different types of recruitment events on campus, whether they're large scale or boutique style recruitment events. As you already know, at the onset of COVID, we had employers change their recruitment style, whether it's in person or it's hybrid of in person and virtual. And so as a career center, it's our initiative to match and align our events with those modalities that those employers are recruiting from. So we have our large scale events, which is our career center, our career fairs, and that is split into our business, arts, sciences, and humanities, which is where the College of Arts and Sciences lies, and then our other one is our STEM. And so we found that students, through the data that we've been able to acquire, students have shared with us that sometimes they can't find it anxiety-inducing to be in an in-person career fair. And also, in addition to that, we found that employers have actually moved to virtual recruitment. And so we've tried to match what's going on with the employer in terms of the recruitment landscape, and then the preferences of our students by hosting virtual recruitment fairs. And so we have one virtual recruitment fair in the winter quarter, and then our fall and spring quarter career fairs are in person. So that is our large scale events. Our boutique style, smaller scale recruitment events are centered around casual and authentic conversations. So one type of that event will look like an event centered around a certain theme. So for example, if you're in the College of Arts and Sciences and you're interested in like media or entertainment, we hosted an event once where we invited folks to speak on a panel and to address what it's like to get more understanding of what it's like to be in that industry, media, entertainment, art, journalism, things of that nature, and then we tailor that event to that specific population of students. And so in addition to the larger scale events that will encompass a lot more employers, we have our smaller ones to really focus on our specific disciplines within our specific colleges. And so in addition to that, we also have coffee chats. Coffee chats are just basically a table where an employer comes to campus and shares more information about what they're doing within their company, as well as the jobs and opportunities that they have available. This gives students, we actually like to do this in a place where students are having classes or where there's a lot of student activity, so that we can be in front of the student spaces and have the employers in front of the students, maybe where they're coming out of class, maybe when they're going to class. So they're always thinking about, what the employment landscape might look like in the future for themselves. So yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the next slide. And so I'm going to talk a little bit more about our internship and job search process here. If you want to continue on to the next slide real quickly. Yeah, can you not hear me? Cool. No problem. All right, so despite the rumors that many of us have heard about the job market, we've actually found through the National Association of Colleges and Employers that hiring is only reduced by a margin of 1.9%. And so as a result of that, we've realized they've also shared that for those entering the class of, or for those exiting the class of 2024, the job market is actually considered to be excellent for those entry-level positions. And so we find that students are actually very successful in finding jobs out in their entry-level positions. We can go on to the next slide. And we could see here from statistics that have been shared with us by PayScale that Santa Clara University is actually ranks in the top 1% for those early and mid-career salaries for those majoring in communications as well as journalism. Top 1% for average salaries post-graduation up to 5 years out, and then the top 3% in early and mid career salaries for those who majored in humanities. And that is for our students in the College of Art and Sciences. Go ahead and move on to the next slide. Sweet. And so, as I shared earlier, entry-level hiring remains the same all across the board. Yes, we might, be a little wary about what's going on with the economy at this moment. But when it comes to those students that are leaving class of 2024, they're actually going into an excellent job market. Some of the employers that we've been able to bring onto campus are, and that also are hiring our students, or I've listed them here for you guys to review. And then in addition to that, the strongest career programs that we see today are retail, consumer packaging goods, and supply chain. And despite the recession, like I said, these are a good number of employers that have hired our students in this past year. Next slide.
Yeah, and I would just add, our employer relations team is phenomenal at making those relationships with our employers. So as you saw, like Bloomberg, just some big name companies. Obviously, we own some prime real estate in the Bay Area, and our employer relations team does a phenomenal job connecting those employers with our students.
So here you can find the general recruitment timeline. As a student in the College of Art and Sciences, you might find that your skills may overlap into different industries, and therefore you might not really have a job deadline to be really looking out for. And so it's important for you to really stay prepared, right? Your skill set could really go into, it can overlap into many different industries. And for that reason, there's not really a strict schedule or a strict calendar that you should follow. And so we can understand as a student in the College of Art and Sciences that it can be a little frustrating, a little, challenging to really navigate through the employer landscape, as well as identify your ideal field or your ideal position or your ideal role. And so we really encourage students to be extremely prepared, which Britannia shared with us earlier, what you should do next, right? Have your resume prepared, have your network, have a great network, have your LinkedIn profile complete, because these job deadlines are rolling basis. And another thing that I would like to mention is that we find that a lot of students like to compare themselves with other students. And so it's important for you to know that just because your friend might have gotten a job in August does not necessarily mean you're out of luck or you're not going to find a job, period, because that person or that student might be underneath a different recruitment timeline than yourself. And so it's really important to be aware of the job deadlines that are being posted, where you want to work, what kind of company you're interested in working for, because like I said, your skill set can overlap into so many different industries that it doesn't necessarily mean, I'm going to go straight, I'm a journalism major, so I'm going to go, work for a press, right? Or I'm a communications major, so I want to work, in this industry. Your major can really overlap. So we really want you guys to be as prepared, as ready for these deadlines to be posted, and when they do get posted, to have all your materials ready. So let's go ahead and move on to the next slide. Thank you.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, please do.
Those months on that graph, is that when employers are coming to campus?
Yeah, so those months are actually the dates that employers are hiring in those fields. And so outside of those months, they won't be actually posting job deadlines or job postings, unfortunately. But what we do find is, as Britannia shared earlier, is that a lot of times companies are sharing this information internally. And so we really expect our students, which I'll go ahead and share more about in our next slides. We want our students to complete their profiles on Handshake, which is our central and our career platform for them to go ahead and find entry-level positions that may or may not be listed on your everyday job posting platforms. A lot of times those job posting platforms are catered to people that might have a little bit more experience. And so we try and cater all the entry-level positions and disseminate that to our students via our Handshake career platform. Just in case, let's say that this is not like some employers actually might fall outside of this range, right? This is just an average, I would say. It's not necessarily but I would definitely, so for example, if you're a finance major, which none of us are, you're probably going to be recruited more so in the fall, right? Whereas if you're a marketing or you're a communications major, that could really range throughout the year. And so it's really important for you to be aware of what your major is and when those employers are hiring within your scope of expertise. All right, so and if there's any other questions, feel free to just raise your hands and go ahead and ask them. Sweet. All right, so let's go on to the next one. So like I said earlier, our students in the College of Art and Sciences, they have skills that overlap. And so these are the things that we expect for them to be aware of. We like for them to have strong application materials, a great network, to expand their search criteria, meaning don't just look for jobs that you might be aware of, like you might be aware of their roles, you might be aware of the positions, but jobs are ever changing. And so it's important for you to have different filters within your job search in order to identify your ideal position, right? So if it's a filter within communication or a filter of within your specific location of a preference and whatnot. And so I'll talk a little bit more about that in our handshake slides. And so yeah, and then the next slide here is our real program. We just wanted to plug this in really quickly because students in the College of Art and Sciences, we find that a lot of times internships can be unpaid. I was a student here as well. I had three internships, all of which were unpaid. And so the real program actually provides students with support by providing them with a stipend to get that unpaid internship paid. And so they have a collection of internships that you can select from, or if you found one on your own end and you'd like to present that to Sarah Hayes, who's the manager who manages the real program, then you can go ahead and share that opportunity with her, and they'll find the funding for you. And so I would encourage all of you parents to go ahead and attend her session, which will happen tomorrow on Saturday, to learn more about how to get your unpaid internships paid through the university. We can move on to the next slide. Sweet. So Handshake. So Handshake is our Career Central platform. This is where you'll find students and employers connecting. As you can see, we have 100% of the Fortune 500 companies listed in our Handshake profile, or in our Handshake platform. Of those employers, we have 85% of the 22,000 internships that have been posted. 85% of them are actually paid, which is above the national average of 40%. And so we highly encourage students to fully utilize the perks of Handshake, because when you're 3 to 5 years out, it's not as challenging to go onto a job posting platform or LinkedIn and see the different types of positions that are available to you. But as an entry level candidate, sometimes those jobs are actually a lot more challenging to find. So we like to encourage students to go ahead and access Handshake, complete their profile, upload their resume, include their LinkedIn link. Because if they don't, the AI built-in tool, the machine learning built-in tool that's built in within Handshake won't be able to cater the job preferences or the events that are being hosted by employers to that student's profile. So if your major is communications and you've already completed your resume and you're interested in working in the media and entertainment industry, then we expect for you to complete your profile by listing that information. Therefore, the AI tool within Handshake will cater your feed, and cater all the jobs and events to you and you specifically. So you're not seeing, let's say, as a communication major, jobs that are being posted for accounting majors, right? And so we really encourage students here to complete their profile. And parents, if this is your first time hearing about Handshake, talk to your student or talk to your child and ask them, what does it look like? Because I think there you can find out more about what companies are coming to campus, what jobs are being offered to our students, how can they actually apply, how can we reach out, things of that nature. So highly encourage you students to go ahead and complete your profile if you haven't done so already. And then the final thing that happens on Handshake is you make appointments with your career development counselors like Britannia. And so, so if you are interested in getting your resume critiqued, if you need some support with a mock interview, or you need some support finding, some sort of exploring your next field of work, sign up with us on Handshake, and that's where you'll be able to make those appointments. In addition to that, we also have all of our events that we host on Handshake. And so if you're interested in knowing about when certain career fairs are happening, or when certain boutique style recruitment events or coffee chats or any of the events that we're hosting are happening, please, as a student, we encourage you to go ahead and review your Handshake profile, because it gets catered to your feed. So that's the way that we encourage students to engage with employers outside of LinkedIn. Like I said, entry-level positions can sometimes be challenging to find, so we try and source all of them and put on a Handshake so that students are able to access only those positions that are available to them and them specifically. And yes, we can move on forward. So here you can see that this is the amount of employers that have attended our career fairs. We've up to 80, I would say, 79, 75. So the number hasn't decreased despite what we've heard about hiring in the economy. We still find that employers are attending our career fairs. They're still coming in great numbers. And so despite what you hear with the recession or what's going on right now, just know that entry-level hiring remains stable across the board, and students that are here today will be in an excellent market as they leave. Go on to the next slide.
Perfect. And our last little tips here for parents, guardians, and trusted adult figures as your student is entering into that internship and job search strategy. First and foremost, ask what they need in this season. So our first year students' needs are a lot different than our seniors and future graduates. So make sure you're asking them what they need in that particular time frame. Encourage them to think creatively and holistically about their experience. So being a Jesuit institution, we care about the whole person. And that's what they should be looking for as they're searching for internships and experiential learning opportunities. Reflect on them, on their strengths and qualities. Sometimes it's hard for us to determine like what we're good at, especially coming into this realm and we're competing against other students. So really help them craft and determine their own strengths. You know them probably better than a lot of other people. So helping them figure out what they're good at, what they should pursue. Support them in their networking efforts. Just as I alluded to earlier, building that network is so important. And obviously you and your careers have access to a wealth of people. So start making those introductions. And then lastly, help them zoom out to see the bigger picture. Obviously right now as an undergraduate student, your lens is very narrow. So if they maybe don't get that first or second internship that they applied for, keep encouraging them. It's a very long process, but definitely worth it. Here at the Career Center, we love to build the gap between our academic learning and then our actual hands-on experience. And that's what internships are for. And with that, we are going to lead into our student panel. So, but before we get there, does anyone have any questions that they'd like to ask us before the students go up? Yeah. Let's go 1, 2. Resume building? Absolutely. Yes. So we have career coaches that are specific for college. So I serve College of Arts and Sciences, specifically arts, humanities, and public sector. We have one with STEM, business, ECP, graduate engineering. So yes, you can make a one-on-one appointment. We also host workshops throughout the quarters. So students can come attend those resume building workshops. And we actually bring recruiters onto campus and they help us like give tips and tricks and like what recruiters are looking for on resumes today. So absolutely. And then I'll also plug in our Career Center website. VMOC is our like AI technology for resume building, and it's really helpful for the structure and format of students' resumes as well. VMOC. Yes.
What are you hearing about the SU profile arts and science students specifically?
Like, what specifically do you mean? Like in terms of what do we hear?
Feedback from the employers
Right.
on our students that are in the arts and science world, and the recruiting path is different than engineering and business, where it's more of a proof point. So I'm wondering, what are you hearing about our students? The employers are giving you feedback about our students.
Sure.
What are you hearing about these students?
Well, we hear that they have great soft skills. I'll tell you that they are great, in my opinion, or not from what I've heard. They have great soft skills. So that you develop through your experiential learning more so than your hard skills that you develop through your actual education. And so we've heard that compared to other universities, they like to hire from Santa Clara specifically due to the fact that our students are more attentive to the Jesuit ideology, to what it's like to be compassionate, conscious, and competent, the 3 C's that our university abides by. In addition to that, you know, our students, I would say here are overachievers in a sense. They're always they're taking on a lot of different opportunities, leadership opportunities, and we find that translates into their skill set as they go into the actual work world. And so I think the students that we have are great in the sense that they're doing a lot, and it actually translates into the interview, and it translates into the questions that employers are asking them. And so a lot of times, you know, maybe you could talk about the interview process more so a little bit, but during the interview process, we find that they do like to hear more about the types of leadership and experiential opportunities that they've hosted on campus by making this campus a lot more of an inclusive environment They also shared a lot about, the fact that our students are very diverse. They've got diverse opinions, diverse backgrounds and interests. And I think the diversity here at Santa Clara also allowed for different types of clubs to be formed, different types of events to be shaped. For example, we just ran an event called Diversity Works Expo, where we invited up to 30 employers to that share similar values as our students and uphold the idea of diversity, equity, inclusion within the workforce. And those employers are trusted employers that our students are working for, that are hiring our students. And so we try to match the values of our employers to align with the values of our student body. Despite the fact that we are in the Silicon Valley and there are a bunch of tech companies out here, we do try and look for those companies that are in similar alignment with our student body. Does that help answer a little bit of your question? Yeah, thank you. Anyone, yeah. Yeah, so we have the Going Global. You want to talk a little bit about that, or should I?
Yeah, so we partner with our international student office and like through study abroad programs and then international employments all through Going Global, but I would refer them to our international student office if they're looking for internships abroad.
Yeah, and there's also, when it comes to studying abroad, I think depending on the department, there is a requirement for you to get an internship. So that's more, I would say, if they're looking for work across, when it comes to the specific experiential work or experiential learning, I would probably work with the faculty advisor, things of that nature, because a lot of times that I would say is more so like I said earlier, when you want to study across or study abroad, I mean. But if you're looking for internships, are you asking specifically about internships, like global internships? Yeah, so I would go to global, the website that she just shared, which is called Going Global. Oh, there it is. And yeah, no problem. Hi.
Do you offer workshops on beyond the core curriculum kind of skill sets that would be useful in the actual workforce, like project management skills, writing skills, communication skills, without taking the class, but some workshops and things like that?
Yeah, we offer multiple workshops. As I alluded to earlier, our resume workshops are very popular. And then also we do interviewing for impact workshops. So where we sit and walk through students like how to be a good interviewer, what questions they're asking, and then we actually have mock interviews within that as well. So again, Handshake, super important. All of our Career Center events are posted on Handshake. We host multiple workshops throughout the quarter.
Yes.
Is there any connection between the academic advisor and the Career Center in terms of kind of making the students those practices?
Yeah, good question. Definitely working on that partnership. As mentioned earlier, Focus 2, all of our advisors have access to that as well. So alongside us and them, we could see what your students' interests are, what career paths they're most interested, what majors line up with their skill sets and passions. So we all have access to that platform. And then this past quarter, we're starting to pilot a new program, and I actually went and sat in the advising room. So then while students were registering for classes, if they had questions for specific advisors, they can go right there. And then while I was there, if they had questions about career, they can just send them right. It's kind of nice because we're right across the street from one another. So we'll send them that way and they can send them ours. But very important partnership.
If there are not any more questions, we'll go ahead and invite our panelists up real quickly to share more about how they were able to land their internships and what that experience looks like for them. And so come on up, students. Thank you, guys. And if you also want to know what's going on with us on social media, feel free to follow. That's another way to figure out more about what kind of events we're hosting. That's just another marketing avenue for us. And so if you want to know what's really happening within the Career Center, feel free to go ahead and hit the follow.
All right, so from the get-go, we're going to ask the panelists just to introduce themselves. So name, major, year, and then maybe just briefly what your internship experience at Santa Clara. Peyton, we'll start with you.
Yeah, hi, I'm Peyton. I am a sophomore here at Santa Clara. I am a communications major, entrepreneurship minor. My current career goal is to break more into the social entrepreneurship space. And I have had 3 internships so far. One at the Professional Pickleball Association as a legal intern, one at a small marketing firm as a marketing intern. They kind of consult for nonprofits. And then one on campus at the Miller Center for Social Entrepreneurship as an impact investing intern.
Hi, my name is Lauren. I am a political science major with sustainability and sociology minors. I'm a senior and I am applying to law school right now. I had internship experience at Miller Center for Social Entrepreneurship as well. I was a fellow there, and I'm sure we'll share more about that. And then I've also had an internship at a law firm.
Hi everyone, my name is Isha. I am a senior and I'm a public health major with a minor in management information systems. I've had a few internships during my time here, and we can go more into that, but I want to go into the business side of healthcare, and so I actually have a full-time that I actually found on Handshake at a management consulting company in their health and benefits department. But my internship experience has been great, and I really liked being able to try different things during my time here, just to see, like, I did nonprofit internships, but then also like the business side too, to see like which one I liked more, and that kind of helped me figure out what I wanted to do.
Hi, my name is Sosna. I'm a junior. I actually transferred to Santa Clara here in the fall quarter, and I'm an environmental studies major and also a sustainability minor and economics minor. And I want to work in a sustainability position, maybe with the business or the government. And I've had one internship so far, and I actually landed it here through Handshake. And it's with Breathe California of the Bay Area, which is a nonprofit organization, and it promotes like lung resources and clean air to disadvantaged communities. And I also am I'm in an interview position for the city of Santa Clara, so I'm interviewing with them right now for a possible internship in the spring. Yeah.
Perfect, thank you. As we can tell, Amanda used the word overachievers, just high achievers here at Santa Clara. So you guys are doing great work. Hopefully you've been using the Career Center. We'll get into some of those questions a little bit later. But what are some tools and resources you utilize to secure your first internship? So for students maybe sitting in the room right now looking for that first, yes, what advice do you have?
Okay, I can start. So for me, my first 2 internships is really important for me to access the hidden job market. So personally, one of them I found through LinkedIn, just because a Bronco that I had connected with, she'd been there for a year. I got a notification. She's celebrating 1 year marketing mission. And I thought, oh, that sounds really interesting. Let me reach out to her. So I sent her a message, like, would love to hear a little bit about what you do at Marketing Mission. And potentially if your company is looking for interns. So I reached out to her. She was a great resource. I think a lot of alumni are really excited to give back to our community because they know Santa Clara prepares us really well for the workforce. So that's been really important for me in my internship search, just going on LinkedIn, seeing you can kind of filter out Broncos that work at certain companies, live in certain places. And so that's definitely what helped me the most so far.
I would also say checking your email and reading through all the emails. We get a lot of emails from Santa Clara every day on our Santa Clara email, but especially the Career Center emails, the department emails. They can really have a lot of hidden opportunities that you may or may not see on Handshake. And so I really encourage going through a lot of the emails. There are also just campus events to get to know alumni, or just events in general to meet your fellow students that you'll want to network with in the future.
Yeah, I second the emails because for public health specifically, I get emails like from the department every single day about different opportunities, things that are happening on campus, like professors you can reach out to. and stuff like that. The second thing I would say is Handshake, which was mentioned earlier. That's actually where I found my full-time role and my internship for last summer. And so kind of just like checking out those platforms and just checking it regularly. New things are always updated to it, so just always check it out.
I'd say, yeah, especially as a transfer student, I read my emails a lot because I wanted to know about things that are going on in campus and all the events and resources available to students. And I'd say, going back earlier, I found my internship through Handshake. And then also, I was reading my email one day, and there was the city of Santa Clara meetup where there were people from the government and employers from there. So it was a really good place to make connections with employers. And that's actually where I found out about the internship that I'm actually interviewing for at the city of Santa Clara. Super nice.
Perfect. Very nice. And just like a little career center plug here, have you utilized this career center? How does that help with your internship search or job search strategies? What resources have been helpful, whether it's like through the website, but is there like particular career center things you would like to point out for students to use? Anyone can answer, yeah.
I can start again. So I actually work at the Career Center as a peer career advisor, so I'm very familiar with all of the Career Center's resources. Handshake, like we've talked about, super helpful, and that newsletter that we send out, we send out emails that are tailored to specific audiences, so the emails that your student gets are very likely to apply to them, very likely to include events that are catered towards students of their major. Additionally, I think VMOC was really helpful for me when I first came to the school, figuring out what should a resume look like, and then eventually setting up appointments with our career experts to really go into detail about my resume, cover letter, all that stuff. So I definitely just suggest you browse through our website. There's so many different things that you can look at depending on what your specific need is, and then go ahead and book an appointment with us, and we'll help you with your specific situation.
I had a good experience with Bronco Exchange, where I was able to connect with Santa Clara alumni, and they joined the program, and so they're looking to connect with students. And I was able to connect with an attorney from Portland, which is where I was from. So when I went home last summer, she took me out to lunch, actually. So I was able to connect about where we were from in Portland, and also she was a Santa Clara alum. And she ended up connecting me to multiple people in the Bay Area for informational interviews. And so that just kind of got the ball rolling for me, just in the legal world, because that's where I'm hoping to go. And I don't have connections in law in the Bay Area or in Portland. So I was really interested in how I could build my network, and that was where Bronco Exchange really was helpful for me.
I think for me, I recommend going to all of the career fairs. So last year, fall, I went to the career fair, and that's actually where I started talking to the company I was interning at. I honestly didn't know who was gonna be there. I was like, I'm just gonna go see what happens. I might be chatting with somebody, and it worked out for me. Where the person I was chatting with at the company, they actually went to Santa Clara. And so we were just chatting about Santa Clara. I was asking, so what do you suggest I get involved in while I'm still here? Any recommendations on that? And so it was really nice to see that there are other Broncos out there. She was super excited and super happy to talk to me, saying, yeah, you should totally apply. And so going to those career fairs, because you never know who you're gonna bump into, and you might have a connection out there that you just didn't know was there before.
I'm just going back. I think VMOC is a really good source to build up your resume. I used it a lot, especially with Britannia. I went to the Career Center. It's free, and you can do as many resume appointments as you want. You can work on your cover letter as well. So that really helped build up my resume to send to internships. And then also after I applied to the internships, it's really helpful to go to LinkedIn and see if there are alumni from Santa Clara, so you can connect with them and then hopefully get an inside and just talk to them and say, oh, like I applied to this internship. Do you have any advice, anything? And it's super helpful and they'll remember your name.
Perfect. And one last question before we open it up to the room. So now that you all have just a plethora of internships, how do you think that has impacted your overall like career journey, foundational learning at Santa Clara? Do you think it has an impact on your degree? Kind of speak to the fact of now having an internship, if it's important, if it's not important. Go with that.
Yeah, so I have learned a ton from my internships so far. The first one I had was the legal internship. And from that, I kind of realized maybe law is a field that I want to go into someday. I haven't like completely changed my path, but I'm definitely considering going to law school one day. My second internship, the marketing internship, before that I was a business major, so I switched to arts and sciences pretty recently, declared my comm major. And that internship was really formative in just helping me decide what I want to do in communications and marketing. There are so many different options, even within one field. So it really helped me discern what do I like, what don't I like, what kind of industry I want to work in. And then my most recent internship at the Miller Center has kind of solidified that what I'm studying is right, and that my skills that I learned in the classroom as a comm major, like they are really applicable to impact investing, even though like I'm the only comm major or non-business major on the team. So I think that's really proven to me that you can study what you want, you can kind of pave your own path, and we are definitely very capable as arts and sciences students. So, yeah.
I wanted to speak about Miller Center as well. I didn't really know what a social enterprise was when I was starting with them, but they are an organization on campus that meets between a nonprofit and a business. So they help nonprofits that operate like businesses. So they don't take donations. They are operating a business that makes money, but they're putting that towards social good. And so that really intrigued me. And so when I became a fellow for them, I was able to take a research class in the spring. And then I had a fully funded summer through Miller Center where they send students all across the world. So my fellowship was in New York City, but this last cohort had students that went to Africa, specifically Rwanda and Zambia, and then also India, the Philippines, and then Baltimore as well. So we had some domestic placements. And I really got to practice my research skills that I learned in sociology and my political science classes. So again, applying what we're learning in the classroom to our internships and fellowships during the summer.
I think internships are very important, and I think that it's great if you're able to get one, and most students here are able to get them. I'm a public health major, and one of my classes was about health insurance and different vendors, and I remember taking that class and I was absolutely so confused. I had no idea what was going on. I was like, all these different plans. I was like, what? But my internship last summer actually really helped me kind of solidify that knowledge. And so I had that like base knowledge of healthcare plans and everything, health insurance and everything like that. But actually like applying that in the workplace definitely helped me learn all of the concepts that I learned in class so much more. And it was actually really easy to understand, and I actually realized I kind of like it. And so you definitely see your classes kind of going towards your internships, and it honestly just kind of wraps everything up with like a little bow, like what you learned here at Santa Clara. Now you're actually kind of applying it for your job or internship.
I agree. I think everyone here can get an internship, and just keep applying and don't feel bad if you don't get the first one, because it'll keep coming and you'll get one eventually. And I'm glad I liked my internship, and it kind of reinforced and like made my passion go higher for like the environment and sustainability. because I got to work with actual like local communities, which is what I want to do. And they were disadvantaged communities. And that just also going back what they said, like using what I've learned in the classroom and putting it into practice and actually like interacting with people like adults and other interns and just putting that into practice and getting to like actually do what I want to do when I grow up.
Perfect, thank you. Now we can open it up to the room, so if anyone has questions for our student panel, please feel free to raise your hand. As you can see, they are great ladies who definitely have used their Santa Clara experience. They got internships, and I have no worries that you will definitely be prospering once you graduate.
I'm just curious about the working environment for your internships. Were they remote, partially remote, hybrid, in the office every day, or how did that work?
Go first. So my internship was hybrid. And so I was in San Francisco, and I'm from the Bay Area, about 45 minutes away from the city. And so I would take BART into the city those 3 days a week that I needed to be there. I think that most jobs are hybrid, so my full-time is actually going to be hybrid as well, so 3 days in the office. One thing that is great and I love about internships is that it taught me I hate commuting. I had to get up so early that I'd get back home and I was so tired. And so I just feel like rather than like aside from the skills that you learn at the internship, I feel like you learn a lot about yourself too. Like I realized maybe I want to move to San Francisco earlier during the year, so I don't have to commute for as long as I was intending on it. So I think that they vary, but mine was in the office. Everyone was in the office those 3 days. You can obviously go more if you wanted to, but they had lunches for you. They had different meetings that you would go participate in. And we had like internship projects. And so we had a presentation at the end of it. But I think all internships vary. And so compared to like my nonprofit one, which is mostly like virtual work, that was like less meetings, less going into the office. So there's like a lot that you can choose from. So if you want to do it during the school year, you can. If you want to do it in the summer, you can. There's a lot of options for that.
Anyone else? Are you guys hybrid or all in person?
For Miller Center this past summer, we were in person because we traveled to our placements. So everyone across the world was doing their social science research in person.
Okay. So now what's yours?
I was also all in person, and I go in 3 days a week, and it's kind of local because it's around like San Jose area.
Yeah, my Miller Center internship is in person on campus. And then my first internship was like during the academic year, mostly. So that was remote. I was one of the only remote workers at that company, but I was working pretty directly with my boss. So that worked out well. And then my second internship was at a company that's entirely remote. So I think it kind of just depends what you want. Personally, I wanted to be home over the summer, and I live in kind of a small town, so a remote option was best for me. But yeah, it kind of really depends what you want. I think there's plenty of options either way.
Question for the sophomore. So you had 3 internships already, but not that far into the sophomore year. So some of them like the integration internships that one might have been summer, but then how did the other ones work?
So yeah, so my first one, the legal internship was, I think I worked February to August. That was pretty part-time, just as needed, I would say. I was not working like consistent regular hours because at that time the legal department was pretty small. I was mostly just me and my boss, one other intern. And then my my second internship was over the summer, so June to September. And then the Miller Center one, I started in December. Most people would start at the beginning of the academic year, but I said, I can't do that. And then I reached back out to them a few months later and got on the team later. So.
Peyton is exceptional, yes.
Well, it's not like flexibility too.
For sure, yes.
That summer internship around here, what do you for housing?
Summer and housing.
Great question. And so a lot of Santa Clara students live in the houses around campus. And so they actually have sublease, but they might sublease their homes. And so I live off campus. I'm from the Bay Area, so I wouldn't live here over the summer. And so if I had that house, I would sublease it to like Lauren, and she could like live in my house if she wanted to, and go from there. So that's what a lot of people do. One, just find subleasers, and some people actually like find subleasers in like San Francisco or San Jose if they really want to do that. But in this area, just kind of living in the Santa Clara area, and there are going to be also a lot of students who do stay in the area for their summer internships. My housemate was here all summer, a bunch of her friends. She met new people who were like coming from Cornell and turning over here. And so you get to meet a lot of people from other schools because we're in the Silicon Valley. So people do want to have other internships here from not just the Bay Area.
And some companies will like connect interns or help them find housing, especially if a lot of the interns are coming from far away. So that's not as much of a concern if you're in the Bay Area, but to people who are taking internships elsewhere, oftentimes they'll live with other interns, and the company will kind of help facilitate that.
Yeah, we find employers providing housing stipends for some students that want to go across the nation maybe for an internship. That is also a part of the internship package. For not for all, but for many.
All right, last
Last
question.
question before our STEM students arrive.
We'll see.
So, first one, are most of the internship opportunities for summer versus other time of the year? And second question is that, can you comment on the difficulty level for sophomore versus junior?
Did you get all that?
I think I can answer the first question. So like for College of Art and Sciences, as I said earlier, their skills do overlap. So there's not really a deadline, it's a rolling basis, I would say. And so for them, it'd be to just encourage them to be looking throughout the year versus like, if you're a major in accounting, right, which none of us are, your deadlines are probably gonna be like from August up until, or even maybe before, up until maybe, 2 months out from there, right? And so it's not rolling basis. And so does that answer your first question?
It's more.
Because I was more,
You have the opportunity for both summer
in
and
terms of
academic
if
years.
it's not summer, how would be complicated
With class. Yeah, unfortunately, like I said earlier, I would say unfortunately, everyone here is an overachiever. If you ask them, they probably also leaders of other clubs too. And so they're doing a lot on campus, and they're also taking internships on, despite the workload that they might already have. So maybe you guys could talk more about like what your bandwidth is like, when it comes to internships and taking your courses.
Start. I'm actually interning at American Heart Association right now. And so as a senior, I'm taking 3 classes. One's a capstone class. One's my last upper div for my minor. And so a lot of my classes, it's been very relaxing this year for sure. And so I thought, okay, why not? Let me just have this internship, try something new, see if I like it. And kind of just explore all these different things before I'm actually like starting to work in the fall. And so I'm balancing school with it right now. And so I know there are other students who are doing that as well. And so this internship is starting in January, ends in May. And so kind of I have like a month before we graduate, just to kind of actually do nothing then. But it's been very like remote work. And so it's really easy for me to kind of just do the work, go to classes. I still have a lot of free time. And so I think it's really easy to manage like your work and your internship during the school year. Obviously, like if I did this last year, I don't think I would have taken an internship during the school year. So my classes were, I was taking 4 classes every quarter, maybe 5. And so I don't think I would have done it, but just depending on what classes you're taking during a certain quarter, I think it's manageable.
Yes, and then last one is, it is more difficult to land an internship sophomore versus junior year, and how do you navigate that?
Speak again. I think that in arts and sciences in general, I don't think there is a huge difference in landing an internship your sophomore year or junior year. I know in the business school, like people get their internships like a year before for their junior summer. That is not the case for arts and sciences. I got some internships junior year, some sophomore year. I don't think they were really looking for like anything specific. Obviously, like some want like more experience than others, but I think that any experience that you have at Santa Clara, like if you're in a club, if you're in this organization or that organization, that is experience, and kind of like using that during those interviews to say, yeah, I helped plan this event, and like just talking about those skills. Like you don't actually have to have like an internship or volunteering or some job before you get that first internship. Just kind of selling yourself based on like what you already do, because you're doing a lot when you're here.
I will say just one other idea that kind of helped me was every student has to take an experiential learning class. And for me, I kind of played it to where I knew some of the organizations that were working with certain classes. And so I chose to take a class that was working with the Law Foundation of Silicon Valley. And so that wasn't necessarily an internship. I called it more of a student partnership. But I was working with an organization for a full quarter and gaining experience of some sort while getting class credit. So that's a little bit different than a traditional route, but you can definitely do that your freshman or sophomore year because that is a class requirement. And you can see the organizations that you're able to work with and just gain more experience that way.
Perfect. All right, well, round of applause for our lovely student panel. Thank you. And thank you all for attending. I know there's tons of activities and events going on, but remember we're the Career Center, so send your student our way. We'll be happy to help them. Thank you.